In Matthew chapter 10, Jesus sends his disciples out to share the good news of Christ. Before departing, he gives them extensive instruction regarding what it means to be a disciple, a learner, a follower of Christ. Here's what we read in verses 38 and 39. "And he who does not take up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. He who finds his life will lose it, and he who loses his life for my sake will find it." Now, the cross is a Roman instrument of death. Those who are unwilling to take up their cross, to die to themselves, are not worthy of Christ. They are not proving themselves to be his followers. Thus, followers of Christ need to embrace their own cross, to die to their own agenda, their own happiness, their own preservation, and to be willing to give up their life if needed. Jesus then says, "He who finds his life will lose it." In other words, those who put their own life first are not living the life of a believer. "And he who loses his life for my sake will find it." Those who yield up their own life and live for Christ will experience eternal life. We can be tempted to try Jesus on in order to have a better life, but our own happiness is still front and center. However, Jesus instructs us to empty ourselves, to live for Christ, to be willing to do his will, even if it doesn't feel good. And when we do that, he gives us profound grace, personal purpose, and overflowing joy. We were never meant to be in the center of our own lives. We've been created to revolve around God, to be used by him to do his will. When we're in the center, we often find ourselves riddled with worry, a lack of peace, a lack of purpose, and a lack of hope. But when Christ is in the center, we find ourselves full of peace, full of purpose, and full of hope. Let's be those who take up our cross every day, dying to self, living for Christ, and following him wholeheartedly. Thanks for listening.